everybody, and welcome to I Got This with Lex and MGP. I am Lex, and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha has been my client for 3 years, and over that time, she has lost over 50 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each week as we dive into health, mindset, and everything in between. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we are talking about progress over perfection. That is a term you've probably heard many times, but what it means to us in terms of mindset, goals, all of that good stuff, I think it's really important. So for this, I am not a perfectionist. Martha is. So you got two people on different realms here talking about this topic, which I'm really excited about. So let's talk about how you started your training experience, and as over the years you've progressed, being from always wanting to be on. Well, this has got to be perfect. That's got to be perfect. If not, then I'm not doing well. Let's talk about that a little bit.
That's true. I mean, being a perfectionist, and it's not just in this arena either. I mean, I tend to be a perfectionist in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And one of the bad things about being a perfectionist is sometimes you avoid doing things because you can't do them perfectly.
Oh, I haven't actually thought about that.
So that is also kind of a negative thing about being a perfectionist.
Right.
And also, nothing is ever perfect. So the other negative thing is you're never really attaining what you set out to do because you're trying to be perfect.
Right, exactly.
So that is true as far as my fitness and all that. For many years, I think I avoided trying to work out or even lose weight because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it.
Okay.
Or I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Right. You didn't want to fail.
I didn't want to fail.
So it's either I'm going to do it properly and I'm going to do it right, or I'm not going to do it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to do it and fail, then that's going to be worse than not doing it at all.
Wow. And that's hard too. I mean, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to do things. I mean, nobody wants to half-ass things.
Right.
I don't know. I got to take that back.
There are some things.
Yeah. And I got to say, like, I have never been that perfectionist either. I have been that person, like, I'll get the thing done. I can execute. I can execute, no problem. But can I execute it to a T? Less than likely. Then, now I try my damnedest to do so.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's many times. I mean, even as a student in college or whatever, I would often put off like writing a term paper, let's say, to the last minute because I didn't want to do it badly, which is so stupid because if I'd put the time in early, I wouldn't be scrambling.
Which is funny because I'm opposite. I just put it off until the last minute because I was lackadaisical. Like, I just am not doing
Well, sometimes
this.
it was that too.
Yeah.
For sure.
But this is good though. Like, you have two different people sitting across from each other saying like, mine was not perfection. Mine was just like, okay, keep making steps forward. Now your thought process was, I need to be perfect, otherwise I'm not going to do
I got to
this.
figure out how to be perfect before I can even attempt whatever.
Exactly.
And I have really grown out of that in the last few years.
And what do you think? So number one, why? Like, why did you need to grow out of that? Why did we have those conversations like, hey, you got to stop being so hard on yourself? Why?
It's mentally taxing. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's stressful. And, if I didn't lose 5 pounds every week, that was hard because that's what you see on TV. It's like, join this, weight loss shake program and you'll lose or whatever, the ads.
Yeah.
And so you think that's reality. And it turns out, guess what? It's not.
Yes.
You got to just put in the work, and it's not perfect. And even if you put in the work and you eat all the proper food, sometimes your body just kind of flips you off and says, I'm not doing it.
Not this week,
not
buddy.
this week. And then, you don't eat perfectly and you drop weight. That just doesn't make sense sometimes.
It doesn't. And in getting to that fact of like, hey, this is not like what says is supposed to be is not how it's always going to go.
Right.
That's hard.
Yeah. And I've had to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think there were many times that we would be yelling at each other in the gym because I'd be like, why are we even doing this? It's not working. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to,
Right.
That perfectionism was setting in and you were getting frustrated with me. Like, yes, it is working. You got to be patient. And okay, not only am I a perfectionist, but I can get impatient at times.
Oh, very impatient.
Especially with myself.
But that again is every single person out there. Everybody's impatient, especially like with where we're at in technology. I have a funny topic on impatience.
Yeah.
This is quick off topic.
Yeah.
I was getting my nails done the other day, and in terms of impatient, she was doing a really good job. It was like she was going really quick and they looked great. And like I was sitting there and in my mind I was like, there's nothing to do for me right now. I literally have to sit here. Like, she's got nothing to say, so I guess I'll just like sit here. And that's impatient when you're like at that point where you're like, I'm always on my phone or something is always going into my brain. That's impatience. And I think that's a strong like vision of like how our society is. Like, we are all so impatient, and
we have to be entertained 24/7.
24/7. And so we look towards these results, like, why are my nails not done? Or why am I not getting results so quickly? And that also taints our view of like what perfection is quick and efficient, right?
Yeah, see, you didn't grow up, you did kind of grow up without a cell phone, but I grew up with before cell phones.
Oh, yeah. I think I got mine at like 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like a kid in the car driving across the country. We didn't have, portable CD players or DVD players or phones.
So you would think you would be more patient.
That was horrible. I hated that. I will never do that again.
I know, but isn't that funny though? You would think that you would have 10 times more patience in this realm.
I have patience with other people. Not with myself. Yes. And not with all other people. I mean, I'm sure my kids would be like, does she?
Does she though? That's a good thought as well.
But like, when I'm working with students and they don't get something, I can be patient for days if they're trying. Like, I will work with them, we'll figure it out, but with myself, when I can't figure something out or my body, let's say, isn't reacting the way I want, then I get impatient.
Right.
And because I expect myself to be perfect. I have higher standards for myself sometimes than the pressure I put on other people.
I think that's very, very common.
Yep.
Very common.
And if I step back, and I think you taught me that, would you be this hard on somebody else?
Would you treat yourself the way that would you treat somebody else the way that you're treating yourself or thinking of yourself right now?
Correct.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
To put that amount of pressure on yourself. And then that's the other thing. You can put that pressure on yourself if you're not doing anything. Okay, if you are doing nothing, like literally like not going to the gym, not working out, or not eating healthy, and you know full well that you could be making better decisions, being hard on yourself and having that hard conversation is a good thing.
Sure.
You should be hard on yourself sometimes, but then there's a point of, okay, I'm doing everything that I can possibly do. I am putting in the work. I'm like constantly making healthy decisions. I'm doing the best that I can possibly do. Why would you be any harder on yourself at that point?
And that's when the results don't happen, that's when you get frustrated. Yeah, exactly. But I have become more patient with that. Yeah. In the last couple of years.
And that's progress. So let's talk progress over perfection. Progress means like you are consistently changing. You are consistently evolving and making better decisions. You're consistent, and that's what you were doing for years. You have made progress.
Correct.
And how has that made you stronger mentally, I guess?
I feel like I'm more confident now. I feel like I can make mistakes and still rebound.
Quickly rebound.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't mean mistakes even just with like eating or something. I just mean in general.
Yeah. Right. What's our favorite book?
Oh, Relentless.
Yeah. I want to talk about that too. Relentless by Tim Grover. That's
maybe we should manifest having him on as a guest.
That would be sick.
After The Rock and J-Lo.
Yeah, that would be sick. Maybe before. I don't know. Either one. But that's where we actually got the name for this podcast. I flipped to a page in the book, and literally one line was, "I got this," and that's how we picked the name of this podcast. But
well, you introduced me to that book because I didn't know it.
Yeah. And Burn Fitness introduced it to me, right? Yeah. So but that's a book you got to be ready for. But what that's the thing is, one of the things in this book is you're going to try your damnedest to be perfect. You're going to try your damnedest to execute to a T with proper precision. But it's not about yes, you can fail or you can win. But the thing is, you just keep going and you get back up. Right. And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't hit perfection and they get knocked down. They get too hard on themselves and then they don't keep going at the same caliber that they were. In whatever realm, whether that's in your career, whether that's in fitness and health, whether that's in, making yourself better in relationships and how you're acting, right? That's a way that you could be bettering yourself. But when you fall, you just get back up and keep going.
Right. And that's a big change even for me in the last few years since we've been on this journey. I think in the past, if I'd made mistakes or something had gone wrong, I would kind of crawl back into my shell a little bit.
Right.
or, maybe even medicate myself with food, or maybe go home and have a couple glasses of wine, or whatever it was.
Right.
And now I'm just like, okay, well, that didn't work out. Let's move on to the next thing or whatever.
Yeah, try something else.
And I just, the quote that there's no mistakes in life, just lessons, has really resonated with me.
Yeah.
In the last few years.
I like that one. And that too is, remember, you have to take that as a lesson. You just can't keep doing the same wrong thing.
Correct. Well, right. Yeah.
Which a lot of people do.
That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over.
And then hoping for a different result.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. I've learned from a lot of my mistakes, or learned from even the positive things that I've done. What works, what doesn't work, and we move from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, is you fall, you get right back up, and you quickly keep going, and that's progress. That's amazing progress.
Yeah.
Imperfection it's unattainable. Nobody's perfect.
No.
We're all things are not going to go the way that we want them to, ever.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. When you make plans, what, God laughs? Isn't that the other phrase? Exactly.
It's the truest thing.
Yeah. So just when you think something's going to, you never know how your life's going to turn, or what it's going to be thrown your way.
Yeah.
So.
In terms of progress in the gym, what do you think of?
So I know when I walked in, weighing a good 50 pounds more than I weigh now. And it's not even all about the weight, but just what I couldn't even do. And sometimes I'll even say this to you is, wow, you just had me do, I don't know, the other day when she made me do like 5 minutes of burpees, and I was going to hit her. But anyway, I couldn't even do one. I didn't even know what one was, let alone. Or squatting, or a kettlebell swing, or a push-up, or any of those things.
And even, what makes me something to think about too is a lot of these people listening. I don't know who's out there listening, honestly, but
we thank you for doing so.
Yes, we do. You may hear these things and be like, I could never kettlebell swing, or I could never do a full burpee, right? Yeah. But that's just your perception. You absolutely can do those things to an extent, even, wherever you're starting from.
Oh, yeah.
But that's progress. Like, even accepting that, okay, right now I can't do these things, but I will be able to. That's progress. That mental progress.
Yes. Well, and in fact, we're in like a little bit of a challenge at the gym, and we can talk about that maybe in a different episode.
Yeah.
But one of my teammates in the challenge interviewed me not that long ago.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about where I started and where I am now. And she said basically to me that she's kind of where I was at the beginning. And it gave her a lot of inspiration and hope, that fact that, she'll see me when we're doing the exercises or whatever, and she's like, you just are like banging out push-ups, you're just, pull-ups, whatever, and she's like, I can't do any of that. I was like, I couldn't do any of that either.
Yeah. So. I think a lot of people see the version of you now, and they say, well, you were always like that. But that's not like, I'm always mind blown that people don't remember. It takes years and years and years to get to a certain point of its consistency, it's hard work, it's progress that gets you to perfection. I'm not saying you are perfect, or I'm perfect, or anything along those lines. That sounds so weird. But what I am saying is it takes years of progress to even get close.
And I'm not even done. I still want to progress. We all want to get stronger, or fitter, or leaner, or smarter, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. The other too funny thing is, I'm talking to a perfectionist. I'm saying that I'm not even close. I'm luckily one of those people, when I mess up, I kind of like forget about it. Like, have you ever seen Ted Lasso? Yeah. And he goes, be like a goldfish and forget about it. What's that? Do you know what I'm talking about? And I think that's a blessing and a curse, right? So if you're a perfectionist, right, and you look at those mistakes and you think, good, you're like, okay, good, this is how I'm going to get better next time. I'm different, and I'm just talking to all people in all different realms of mindsets. Like, when I make a mistake, sometimes I literally just forget about it and keep moving, or don't even realize that I did that.
Whereas I dwell on it.
Yes.
I might not sleep that night because I'm thinking 16 different ways how I could have handled the situation better, or what I could have done better.
Right. And I think, honestly, I wish I had that so I could make myself better quicker. Right.
And I wish I had a little bit of like, whatever.
Yeah, like, whatever, moving on.
Just take it and mash it together.
Yes, exactly. If we could do that, that'd be amazing. Somebody out there has those 2 innate things mashed up perfectly. We need that. But yeah, and that's what I personally, when I mess up, I have to like actually think, like, I have to force myself to think about how I could have done better. That doesn't come naturally. That's like, I guess I could have done this better. Think about that longer. Or like I should really journal on how I could be better. Because normally I mess up and I'm like, whatever.
And meanwhile, in my journal, it's like, ugh, I did this wrong. Blah, 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 blah. I should have done this.
Right.
That's a different total message.
And isn't that crazy to find that there's such different brains? And I'd like to hear a different mindset on that.
Okay, well, next time you goof up, let me know, and I'll just tell you how you could have done it better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'll call you at 3 a.m. because that's when I'd be up
that's
thinking about it.
Up thinking about it. Wow, that's... Yeah, not like that. Oh, you guys with that brain handle a lot of stress. Wow.
Well, that's where, honestly, though, the fitness journey has become my outlet for that.
The stress you carry. Yeah.
Yes, where it used to be maybe I'm going to go eat some food that's not the best for me, or go out for drinks with friends, or not that that's wrong, but I'm just saying there were more harmful ways of handling stress.
Oh, absolutely.
Than I have other outlets now.
Which is amazing that this is the thing that makes you feel better mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah. But we are learning that being 2% better or 1% better every single day is being
still better.
Yeah, it's still better. It's still better. And then compounding, we always talk about compound effects. If you do that consistently over a long period of time, you'll never be perfect, but you'll be pretty damn close to it, right? Or being the best at something. You just keep working on it. Compounding progress every single day.
Working out of my perfectionism, I guess, is my biggest challenge, right?
Yeah. So. I wouldn't get too far out of it, I guess.
No, we can always strive for our best.
Yes.
Not beat ourselves up as much.
Yeah.
And that's actually, I'm not afraid to try things now. Whereas, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it was more that I wouldn't do things for fear of failing.
Right.
Because I was a perfectionist and I either didn't want to look stupid, or I didn't want to fail, or I didn't want to admit that I couldn't do something. And that has been a huge change, because notice, I mean, all the things that I've tried now in the last couple of years that I would have never done.
Right.
Big things and little things.
Right.
And, and I know we have an upcoming episode where we talk about some of our goals for this coming year. And those will be some of these things that perhaps I won't succeed at all of them, but we're going to give it
our all
to get there.
That's so funny, because I told you recently, I was like, I don't even know if I want to release like my goals for this year, because
what did I say to you?
Yeah, you said, suck it up, buttercup, because that's what you say to me. Like, I didn't want the pressure of having to achieve them. I was like, well, what if I don't achieve these things? Because I always aim very high. I reach very, very high.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. It's almost sometimes very unrealistic.
You can't make goals ridiculously easy.
No. And sometimes they're ridiculously hard and I don't accomplish them.
Okay.
Which is like fine, but at least I'm trying. But same thing, you stopped caring how perfect it was, and you just like did it.
Yeah.
In all realms. You did a lot of really cool things this past year. Give a few examples.
So I was always afraid to try, like, I love to do adrenaline driven activities, but I was afraid to try them because of one, I thought people were like, what does this mom think she's doing? Like, she's too old to be. I've actually had friends to tell me, aren't you too old for these things that I've been doing?
It makes me look like I'm rolling my eyes right now. Like, oh, disgusting.
So, for example, I always wanted to get my motorcycle license.
Yeah.
Even you were like, what are you doing?
I did. I was like, oh, wow, this is a big step, but cool.
And I took
I'm on board for anything.
I took this, went to this motorcycle camp for a couple days, and we learned how to ride them. I mean, I had never done it, ever. Never driven a motorcycle. And, this class with like all these 20-year-old guys, basically, they're like, someone's like, whose mom dropped him off or something. As I like got on a bike, with my helmet. So
a little was it a Harley?
Yeah.
That's so badass.
And of course they all had just like plain little helmets, and mine was like red with flames. But
yes. I love that. Red with flames.
It was.
Martha showing up on her Harley.
But anyway, so that was pretty adrenaline and pretty badass. And, a lot of people in the class failed out because they crashed their bikes or they just couldn't do it. And
that's what you normally would have been afraid of.
Yes. And I was like, what's the worst thing that happens? I don't pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I tried.
But I did pass. So, not to brag. And I got that bike up to 50. I was going.
So, girl, I love that.
So, that was one. And then another, I'd always wanted to go whitewater rafting, but I was like, oh, it's really dangerous. People can die. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to die. I'll be fine. Do these things. So we got in the raft and we were in West Virginia and we went whitewater rafting on like this, the level 5 hardest rapids ever.
Yes.
Of course, I made sure my college swimmer daughter sat next to me in case I needed a save, but
just in case.
Just in case. And she did pull me in the boat when I flew out. But anyway, but we did things like that. And we've done other, sillier things too. But these are the things that I wanted to try. And now I've actually sat down with my husband and he's made a bucket list of things he wants to try that he was maybe afraid to try in the past. And, and we'll have an upcoming episode because my daughter has talked me into skydiving with her. And so as long as I survive that, we'll talk about that afterward.
Oh, you'll be fine. I'll tell you exactly where to go. I gotcha.
But anyway, so these are things I would have never done in the past for fear of looking stupid.
Yes.
Or what do people think?
Exactly.
You know what? I don't care what people think anymore. It's my life.
Exactly.
I don't want to be 100 years old and care.
Yeah, who cares about
that I missed something?
Being the perfect person who's safe all the time and supposed to live your life a certain way, going, back to, the path less traveled. Like, live your life how you want to live your life. Focus on progressing to the person that you want to be in the life that you want to live.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of freeing.
It should be.
To be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And now that people have said, aren't you too old for that? Or aren't you you should have done that when you were in your 20s. Well, I didn't, so I'm doing it now.
So I'm doing it now, yeah.
I don't care that, I'm in my 50s. Yeah. Whatever. I'm doing this. I'm having fun. I'm living my life. And
here I
am. Judge me or don't. It's not really my, business what you think of me.
That is mental progress.
Yeah.
That is mental progress.
And that's been huge in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. After being a person who is, truly just... like me. I'm not saying that was you, but
everyone wants to be liked and not be judged.
Mm-hmm.
But once you decide that that's okay, it's kind of freeing.
It's way freeing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the people that I care about and the people that I love, they do like me or love me. So that's all that matters at the end of the day.
It really is. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. If they care that much or they don't like what you're doing that much, then why are they in your circle? Why did you... you should be plucking them and putting them outside your circle.
That's right. My inner circle is solid.
Exactly.
And that's all that matters.
And that's a big decision. We should talk about that too. Mm-hmm. How to,
call your inner circle.
Manifest your inner circle.
Yeah.
I like this. This is a great topic today. Progress over perfection, all or nothing mentality. Kind of getting over that and becoming the best version of yourself every single day by 1% versus all or nothing, right?
Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to live your life.
Yeah.
I challenge everyone out there to go and pick something that you've always wanted to try and just try it.
Yeah. And say, I got this before you do it.
That's right. Or as you're jumping out of the plane, I got this.
Ooh, I like that. All right. Good. Thanks for joining, guys, and we will see you soon.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed what you heard, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at I Got This Pod. See you next week. And remember, I got this.